Hi there, my name is Stephanie Nicholls, and today I'll be discussing the Nicholls residence living room renovation. To begin, I feel as though we have all been frustrated at some point with a layout, whether it be at work or potentially a retail store at a mall, and for the Nicholls family's case, it's their most common space in their home, which is their living room. To take a look at their living room, at first glance, it's not all that terrible. You can see that it's definitely well lived in, seems pretty comfortable with the couches. But after a few more seconds of looking, we can see a few problems. Something like the corner fireplace, perhaps, that we can barely see at the moment. Or maybe just that it seems really dark and a little bit squishy. So we'll get back to that. First, we will look at our agenda for today. We'll have a bit of a little icebreaker. We'll talk about what we think about when we hear the term living room. And then we'll move on to the welcoming of the Nicholls residents. So we'll take a look at a site map to get some familiarity with the neighborhood. We'll see the current living room situation, moreover, and then we will see the architectural challenges and the decorative challenges within the living room space in a more analyzed fashion. And then with some extensive research, we will take a look at things like feng shui, furniture arrangement, suitable layouts, and how to make a living room just overall more welcoming. And then, after that research, of course, we will take a look at the new and improved living space for the Nicholls family. And then, of course, we will compare and contrast it with the current one. And to finalize the entire presentation, we'll take a look at some references. So to begin, when we hear the term living room, what do we think about? For myself, I always think about a fireplace first. I always think it's a really big and bright and airy space, typically somewhere that people gather, socialize, hang out, and of course, one of my favorites, relaxing after work. So to go back to the Nicholls residence, this is a site map of the neighborhood. We can see that is absolutely on farmlands and that it's got big, bright, open, airy spaces around it. So that's definitely something that we want to take and put into this space. We really want to reflect its environment and bring it inside a little bit to add some comfort. But we can see that we could absolutely take advantage of the beautiful tree in the backyard and just the overall greenery. So perhaps with some extra big windows to really bring the outside into the living room and really just frame that picturesque looking backyard into the space. So to look back at the living room now, what makes it so unaccommodating? We can see that it's just ultimately squishy. It doesn't really look like a lot of people would gather here to socialize and hang out. You can also see that on the love seat if two people were sitting there. The person closest to the TV would absolutely have a bit of a neck cramp after watching maybe 20 minutes of TV. So just not very accommodating. It doesn't really have a lot of thought behind it. So there's lots of changes that can be made and improved, which is a very exciting thing. So we'll take a look. So the current living room layout at a floor plan view, we can see that the corner fireplace, of course, is very problematic. It really does not help to frame the furniture placement in this space, unfortunately. We can also see that the wall neighboring the kitchen to the very right just really locks this space in. It really squishes it in. It makes it really difficult to navigate around and everything like that. You can also see that the window locations are good. They're beautiful windows, but they could absolutely be better and really to just frame and shape the space a little bit better. And lastly, the angled corners for all of our architectural and layout challenges here. To move on to more decorative features, of course, first things first, the furniture placement. Definitely something that will have to change. It's just not very flowy. It just seems very choppy and blocky. So we'll have to move some things over there. We can see that the paint color is a little bit dark as well. That makes the space always feel smaller than it actually is. The window treatments, though they are mediocre, they are also unattractive. So for somebody who is trying to watch daytime TV, they may have a glare or maybe even some eye strain trying to watch the TV right beside a window. And lastly, the lack of organic and textural materials in this space really just doesn't make it very inviting. It feels kind of lifeless. It needs to be a bit brighter and more attractive. So for client needs, they pretty much just want to make the living room welcoming. They really want it to be easy to walk around with some good circulation. They just want it to be a bit brighter, bigger, and really good for socializing in as well. So what makes for a good living room in more technical terms? We can see that strong furniture arrangements based on focal points are absolutely helpful. They're a really good first step. So something like putting a fireplace in the center rather than a corner and then shaping the furniture around can be very useful. We can also see that furniture arranged in good distance from one another is really helpful as well, especially for socializing and making conversation with people. Things like good flow or possibly feng shui, which is, to quote, a method of design used to bring balance and peace into a space by ensuring that rooms are set up for the best flow of energy. So a very important factor. Ways that we can better have feng shui in our home is by introducing more organic materials, which is something that we are looking for. Lastly, we really want enough furniture for a minimum of 6 people to sit. This makes it just more welcoming for even if it's a single person in a room, or of course when we're socializing lots. And ultimately we just want a welcoming atmosphere. So big comfy furniture. We want lots of texture, lots of visual appeal, and some good sightlines as well. So after learning some things, we can take a look back at the Nicholls family layout and probably all agree that it is not exactly hitting all the client needs, unfortunately. So no feng shui, no strong furniture placement, the corner fireplace, just everything about it is not good. So we can absolutely change that. That's all that there is to it, is we have more opportunity here. So to look at the renovated living room, we're checking off all the boxes, which is fantastic. So we've opened it up. There's no more wall there. We've put the fireplace in the center and it really frames the rest of the furniture placement, which is great. It just looks like a place that people can hang out and socialize in and have lots of late night chats with over tea. It just is more welcoming and warming and exciting to be in. So for this renovated living room, of course, we see the fireplace is now centered with the space. No more wall, better organization of the windows, and strong corners rather than the angled ones that really shrunk the space. And we can also see the strong furniture placement. There will be a later paint color, much better and attractive window treatments that are actually more functional as well. And then we'll see some more organic and textural materials in there too. So by comparison, we can see that even though it's relatively the same size, we're just using way more of the space given to us in the renovated living room. So lastly, this is the quick 15-minute sketch of the living room, just to give a bit of a feel for the Nicholls family. It's more inviting, it's warmer, it just looks cozier, especially with the fireplace. You can actually see it. It's something that people can look at when they're talking rather than having the TV on or anything like that. It's just overall a more inviting space. So in summary, we took a look at the current living room. We analyzed it through the layout. We took a look at some extensive research on things that we can do to change all the problems. We looked at some inspiration as well, and then we took a look at the renovated space in a layout form, and then of course in the quick sketch format. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a fantastic day and enjoyed the presentation. Thank you.